All right, so we're on the final part of Sonic Colors. Oh, I unlocked some stuff in the arcade thing. Also, man, Asteroid Coaster's menu music sounds like Sports Center.
Yeah, it does.
But
You know, it always struck me as
ESPN
it
8,
always
the colors.
it always struck me as a weird missed opportunity that they never had an unlockable moto bug in any of the Sonic racing games. I mean, you think it'd be a no-brainer, right? This was built for.
If there was a Sonic racing game akin to like Kirby Air Ride,
Sure.
maybe. But
honestly, I know that maybe this is a little sacrilegious to say in a Sonic commentary, but I feel like a lot of the Sonic enemies aren't quite as iconic as, say, many of the Mario enemies, and it wouldn't work.
No,
Well,
they're not.
yeah,
well.
that's because they're all stage specific, which honestly is part of why I like them. But the moto bug is like the first one you see, so you'd think that in a context where it makes sense to have them be an unlockable playable character, they would like not even just in like newer ones like Transformed or whatever, but even in like Sonic Drift, where you think it would make sense for them to do that, they don't. So, and you know, it's odd that they don't, because you would think that they would try to make one of their more cute and memorable early game enemies a bit more iconic through repeated extra appearances and side things.
I think that they've kind of come to the conclusion that they don't really want that kind of thing not in Sonic, but they don't really want to make that a marketing point, because they had a cute, marketable, mascot-y type character with the Chao, and they decided to ignore the Chao after 2006.
No, they didn't. They haven't exactly started ignoring the Chao, but they don't have the pet simulator thing that the Chao was built for anymore.
It's not even just the pet simulator. Like, they just don't really show up. Like, after like the last between like Shadow the Hedgehog had some reference to the Chao. Granted, them not being there made sense because that game was so dark. And
no, there was the Chow Garden. There was Eggman's secret like Chow stash.
Yeah, Eggman loves the Chow Garden, and he spends all day breeding them in his spare time.
That's not the point, though.
Yeah.
The point is
There's
Chow
also
in the
Cream
game.
the Rabbit, who has a Chow that she can attack with.
Yeah, but Cream also, but that's the thing, like, Cream was not relevant between, like, 2005 and, like,
Cream just shows up in cutscenes. He hasn't been playable in ages.
Yeah, and Chow didn't really show up after the Adventure era. They started to veer away from the kind of things that, you know, having a cute mascot-y kind of character would. And I mean, granted, I don't know why.
I mean, you say that, but they just wound up replacing the Chow with the Wisps anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, the Chow were very transparently designed to try and pull in more Japanese players, because the Japanese players, they love their cute, iconic slimes and Goombas and whatevers. Like,
it was the 90s. Tamagotchi was all the rage.
Well, Tamagotchi being all the rage here in the 90s was a novel thing during the 90s, but I'm just talking general Japanese pop culture. They love their cute things. There is very often...
I mean, it's not just Japan. Like, the West is going apeshit over Baby Yoda right now, because Baby Yoda is
That's
cute.
because... That's more because of the novelty of a Baby Yoda. That's not...
and if they made Baby Yoda disgusting, I guarantee you it wouldn't...
Star Wars, baby.
Look, I guarantee you...
Make your dreams come
I guarantee
true.
There's also Baby Groot, also was another thing.
I guarantee you, just like there's occasionally that person who finds E.T. terrifying, there's going to be someone who finds Baby Yoda terrifying.
It was so adorable
But-
when Baby
that's
Vader force
clearly
choked
not-
Baby
I'm
Tarkin.
but I'm not saying this idly. Japanese pop culture does have a love of cute things, like more so than American pop culture. It's why the version of Crash Bandicoot that they got over there had those little cutesy Pac-Man eyes, and was redesigned to be, or at least redesigned on box art to be generally less edgy and zany looking, and more just adorable.
Cute.
Yeah. and cities have their mascots and everything over there. It's
Good old Kumatora with his giant bonfire of why? For the glory of Satan, of course.
It's just a particular leaning of Japanese pop culture that the chao was very obviously meant to try and grab onto. For a little while, they stopped trying to grab onto that, which I think might be the period of time you're referring to when you talk about them not paying attention to the chao anymore.
I still want to know why they haven't even tried making a chao pet sim for mobile.
That sounds like so much money they're leaving on the table, but then again, Sega, we have established, is not
Actually,
super
yeah,
smart.
it does, especially since that's another thing that that Japanese pop culture is more into than the West, just the general concept of mobile gaming.
So do you guys like Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I'm not entirely sure how I feel because I would probably need to do more like analytical research on this, but I feel that as much as folks will want to see like child garden related stuff to return, I always also feel that is still a very niche market in a very
Which is
specific
why I say put it
part
on
of the
mobile,
side.
where it's much cheaper
Right.
to develop for.
I mean,
Like, because don't get me wrong, like Chow fans will no doubtedly buy a Chow Garden mobile app, but how many are there? Like,
well,
because
Yeah.
I'd say that more than you'd think, considering that Animal Crossing sold more copies than Super Smash Brothers.
again,
I would also
know
say, again,
there is a market there, but I feel it is not a huge market.
I
It's
say
for
it's
Chow
more,
Gardens, specifically. Let me be
I'd
clear
say
for
it's-
Chow Gardens specifically.
I'd say for if you release it on mobile devices, it's way bigger than you think it would.
Yeah, no, there
Sure.
people
I'm
like
not.
games.
I'm not saying it would be Pokemon Go levels of big, but I'd say it'd be
Right,
yeah,
right.
like
a pretty
games
hefty
like
amount
The
of money.
Sims, it would share the audience with stuff like that. Maybe not Civilization, but
but it needs to be at least baseline Sonic big, and
not
I
to
feel-
make a cheap mobile Chow Garden game.
I'm just saying, but Chow Garden specifically, it's kind of hard to put into words because why would any Joe Schmo invest in a Chow related game
Because they're
unless they were
cute.
already a Sonic fan?
because they're cute little blue alien people things. That
Also, you
go,
could-
I
also-
feel,
Dab,
all
dab,
right, in that
doo.
case, okay, well, in
Here's-
that case, I feel that market's already oversaturated.
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
you could also skew more heavily in the actual racing aspect, which Pokemon does not do at all on mobile.
Yeah, you could
Mobile,
do
Yeah.
mobile, you have the catching sim and you have the gotcha mechanic game, and that's kind of it.
Right. To me, a Chow Garden game only has appeal to Sonic fans, and not every Sonic fan is a Chow Garden fan.
I
That's
would
what I'm getting at.
disagree. I think that the market's a lot bigger, especially in today's world where people really like non-violent kinds of games like that. Slime Rancher's
And
huge. My
I
Time
say
at
it's over.
Porsche.
I say it's oversaturated.
Not anymore. It's not any more oversaturated than 2D platformers are. And Sonic, you could say, oh, Sonic isn't going to do good because it's oversaturated. Like it's the same. That's the same argument.
Regardless, I think it's a low risk, high reward venture they could.
Yeah,
go
it's
into.
a game
Yeah.
that would have a 5-person development team, take them 6 months to get something out, and then potentially loads of money.
I
in
don't. I also
return.
don't trust. I call this my bitterness, but I also don't trust Sonic Team or Sega with mobile games because
yeah,
they ripped my
okay,
heart with
you know.
Sonic because they ripped my heart with Sonic Runners.
No, if we're talking about Sega pulling it off, then sure,
Yeah.
we can be as skeptical as we want. But as for Sega doing it in the first place, it just seems like a no-brainer.
Well, I mean,
know.
they don't even need, like, if they want to get the Chao out there as their own standalone thing, they don't even need to connect it to Sonic if they don't want to. If they wanted to make it work in Japan with the Japanese market that the Chao are clearly designed to appeal to, they could just do it as a mobile game and have some advertisements hung up in their arcades every now and oh no, it's coronavirus here, never mind.
Yeah.
But in a general context, they could pull that off, and it would probably work. They just need to get the word going and get people downloading the game, and the people who are into the idea of a mobile pet raising game could probably do it. Could probably get into it.
Okay, so that cutscene there where Sonic was doing the one-handed push-up, Sonic is absolutely the kind of person who on his Instagram is like, check out my Seek gains, bro. And he shows
Check
the
out
he shows
the
the
console.
Instagram picture of his weight setup, and it's on like 300 pounds. And then as soon as he actually starts to go lifting the weights, he takes off like 6 of the dumbbells.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like a 50-pound weight.
Oh, some of the dumbbells are still wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not fooling anybody, Sonic.
Look at how many miles I ran on the treadmill today, guys. Ugh. And then he just drew with the crayon an extra 3 O's.
Just invested in my 6 Fitbit. I need help.
Those noodle arms. He has no muscle.
Yeah. I don't know, because like considering Knuckles is stronger than the rest of them, he's also just as noodle-limbed.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
You know?
No, Knuckles probably does it too, you know.
Also, Mighty's super strong, and he's basically just Sonic without the spikes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Knuckles, I imagine, is like, oh man, guys, look at how much weights I lift, and then he just takes a picture of Google, like of weights, and then just photoshops them next to him.
He has the
but
Photoshop.
he keeps
No, he
like
photoshops
the Photoshop like stock image filter is still on the pictures of the weights.
Yeah.
Always
the
nice.
watermark is still on it.
Or he cuts out his
he uses the smear and balloon tool on Photoshop and just makes his abs look really big.
yeah, or he cuts his face out in Photoshop and puts it on the head of a really buff guy. I think Knuckles would also probably do that too.
Well, he did in Sonic Boom.
He did. Well, isn't Sonic Boom? He's actually jacked though.
That's only because of his photoshopping skill that you think that.
Yeah.
So he photoshops himself in real life. Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
It's all the huge gains are all post production.
He's just wearing a big muscle T-shirt.
Now I'm
I've
a
got
jerk, and everyone loves me.
Yeah.
Anchor body.
So Tails' voice changed after a couple games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is Kate Higgins now, and then I believe it became Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who was Charmy for a while.
Yeah.
And what game did they change?
I think it was Lost World.
It was either.
think it was Boom.
No, it was still. No, it was Boom. Because it was still Kate Higgins for Lost World. Yeah, I want to start. Starting with Boom, it changes actors again.
Okay.
Voice acting in general, like I always find really fucking fascinating in terms of like hiring union and non-union workers, and how folks, despite having a lot of longevity with the actor, with the character in question, still have to audition for the role every single time as if they never voiced the character in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know anything about how the.
Well, I can only go off what like interviews with Mike Pollock go into, because Mike Pollock has said time and time again, it's like every time there's a new Sonic game, unless he's contracted for like multiple games, he has to audition for Eggman every single time. And I guess there's just nobody else that can nail it like he does, because that's what experience does. So I don't know why.
I'm wondering, like, what if Mike Pollock just doesn't feel like it, and they end up recasting Eggman?
I mean, everyone needs to get paid, so.
Everyone needs to get paid, which is why he still does it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You know.
true, but
I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, let me rephrase that, because I want to make it sound like he's not dispassionate about the. No, because I'm pretty sure he loves doing it, but it's also a matter he needs to get paid.
yeah,
Like,
I'm just,
voice actors
it's
need
the
to get
most
paid.
famous role he does, and it's the most consistent role he probably does.
He responds
easy
to
check.
every tweet that's sent his way.
Yes, he does. Mike Pollock is the most patient motherfucker I've known in my life. With the amount of stupid shit he gets on a daily basis. Like, I don't know how he does
I
it.
don't know
because
why
as
he
we
does
all
it.
know, Mike
Yeah,
Pollock is
yeah.
responsible for how Sonic games are made and distributed. Him specifically.
Well, maybe one day Sega's just gonna be like, sorry, Mike, we got this other guy. He sounds way better.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, they do that, or they do that for Sonic or whoever, and like, what's the reaction? Because it's terrible, right? Like, people flip out.
I mean, I think Sega's pretty content with the cast they have right now.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then why not just like hire? Like, I don't know how like the business works. Maybe they can't hire him. Maybe he always has to technically be a freelancer. But why can't they just call him every time they make a Sonic game and be like, "Yo, we're making Sonic Electric Boogaloo Dance Party."
It has to do with union acting work versus what else he might be doing. Because remember, he's not just Eggman; he's in other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
So
understand
when
that
when
it's
he's
probably,
doing when he's doing stuff for, because he's out of New York.
Yeah.
And when hiring actors out of New York has different laws versus hiring actors out of California, which has different laws than hiring out of Texas. So
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if they have a cast that they like, why do they have to go through the audition process every single time? Why can't they just, like, when they have the new game coming up, like, call the whatever agency, or if it's the...
Again, I think it's strictly legal reasons and how different laws work in different states.
They might be obligated
I
to
think that's
give
the only
everyone an equal shot. Although it's not really an equal shot if you know that this one particular person has been doing the same role over and over again and has been doing it well.
I'm getting
sure,
flashbacks to my
but-
high school drama club.
I mean, yeah, but that is true. Again, it wasn't Roger Craig Smith that voiced Sonic in the movie. It was Ben Schwartz.
Oh, well, that
that
I
has
think
more to
is
do
that's
with-
a Hollywood thing.
yeah.
Yeah, well, again, but that kind of goes into what we were talking
Well,
about.
movies
You know?
like to have their celebrities involved, like Final Fantasy 15. Kingsglaive had like different actors for half the frickin' cast.
The
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank movie, they did get James Arnold Taylor to be Ratchet, but he was like shoved to the side of the box where they mentioned all the celebrities they got to be the other characters for the
This is your box, James.
Unfortunately,
Sit in that box.
for better and for worse, that's unfortunately the result of Robin Williams being the genie in Aladdin.
Yeah.
Where they gave,
I
where
know
they
what you're
gave
getting
him, where
at
they gave him
because
top, they gave
Lindsay
him top,
Ellis made a
Yeah,
Lindsay
it's a
Ellis
very
made a
good
video
video.
about that. Yeah,
yeah, where they gave him top billing and he was easily the best character in the movie. So it's like, okay, we can sell a movie, an animated movie based on whatever celebrity we get to voice the character. So we'll just do that now.
Yeah. The thing
not
about
taking into
it was
account
is
that Robin Williams is also not every
The
actor or actress is a Robin Williams.
Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank movie having the same voice actor as the video game, though, was probably more of a consequence of them wanting to have a tie-in with a game that came out at the same time, and that also had clips from the movie in it. So,
Yeah, I suppose that's also
Yeah.
That,
So-
that didn't stop GameCube, PS2 era.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
they would get whoever the heck they wanted for the
That's
voices
not
for
Will
the video
Smith.
game. I was surprised that for the SpongeBob movie game on GameCube, PS2, Xbox, they actually got Scarlett Johansson to voice her character in the video game.
Yeah.
Like I would have.
Yeah, but Scarlett Johansson plays everything, so
I
Yeah,
mean,
she can
that's
get away
true,
with doing
yes.
everything. So
Scarlett Johansson actually is a mermaid who lives under the sea.
okay. Okay.
I don't know why Sonic and Tails are so worried about this place exploding when they can breathe in space.
they can fall from space with no.
they can fall from
repercussions.
space though.
Yeah,
That's the
they
thing.
can fall
Yeah.
infinite height and they can breathe in space.
Well,
I
the-
don't see
the
what the
prob-
problem is.
the-
No, they burn up on re-entry.
The
though.
problem is they're both up here in space right now, so nobody's down there to pilot the tornado and catch them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Shadow can survive a fall from space. I
Sonic
don't-
Sonic fell from space and was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Wait,
thought
when did-
Shadow died, though.
When did that
Yeah,
happen?
but he didn't.
When did that happen?
In the end of Sonic Adventure 2, when he fell from space.
No, when did
And then-
Sonic survive that?
Wasn't it
one of
the
the
Yeah, the
advanced
beginning of
ones.
a,
I think it was
the beginning of
Advanced
a, the beginning of Unleashed.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, no, all right. So in that case, though, I will argue against Sonic Advance 2 because Sonic was still in his super form as he was trying to stop the capsule, and then he only got out of it when it broke.
Also-
he was already in the.
As
he was
long
already
as
in
he
the
has
air.
rings, he can survive
Also,
it.
it's a
I thought
fucking
this
video
is, This
game,
is how
so-
the games work, right? If he has rings, he's invincible.
And I
And
thought
also in
Shadow.
Unleashed, he was falling, and then Chip actually saved him a little bit, and then he fell.
Yeah,
And I thought the reason that Shadow survived in the first place was retroactively supposed to be like, oh, Eggman rescued him and put him in a test tube for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he still crash landed onto the planet and survived that fall.
They were
What was there? Was there just an Eggman robot there, just standing in the exact spot Shadow was fall, holding his arms out, ready to
I
catch him?
think-
yeah. It's like two
I
egg
think
ponds with a
I think
trampoline.
the implication was that Eggman quietly ordered one of his robots to go and catch Shadow at some point, but
I
it's
like
never
the
really
visual
explained.
idea of Eggman's pyramid base. Like, they open up the hole in the top of the pyramid in order to get the shuttle out, right? They never close it. Shadow just lands
Yeah.
straight in the middle of it onto Eggman's couch, and he comes home, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
Ooh, that was really lucky. Almost died there.
Oh, I
Also,
forgot
who
there
am
was
I?
the mini-boss rush for this stage.
This was really awkward because if you don't have enough, I mean, you're supposed to constantly boost and veer left and right into the motobugs because they will occasionally give you more boost meter, but if not, then you have to just keep jumping in front of this asshole.
Yeah, this is how I remember being.
There's no checkpoints in this stage.
Oh
No,
yeah, and it's a
one
long
and done.
stage too.
It's almost done though. Yeah.
The one
There we
good
go.
thing is that because Sonic's jumping animation is so goddamn floaty, you don't have to try very hard to time the jump. As long as you like jump and hold the button at some point while that fucker is swinging his arm, you're going to be in the air when he swings it.
You just have to do it with a rhythm. You can't just mash the button.
Well, yeah, if you happen to be falling down before he swings, then you're gonna take a punch to the face. But
You know what? Sega liked this boss fight so much that they repeated it 2 more times in the next upcoming
3
game.
games.
Yeah, because it's the final boss in Lost World and Forces is basically just this guy again, right?
Yeah,
More
to
or
some
less.
degree. Yeah.
Minor variations. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
the only other final boss that they tried was the Time Eater. So,
Oops.
But that had its own
I like
issues.
Sonic. I like Sonic razzing on Eggman for trying to be clever with his puns. When he spent this whole time talking to robots that don't talk back, just to hear the sound of his own stupid jokes. Little blue prick.
Yeah, it's my favorite game, Sonic the Hypocrite.
Also, Tails, why are you scared of this? I don't even need to go super to beat this guy.
It was kind of novel at the time to have a final boss in a 3D Sonic game that wasn't a Super Sonic fight.
yeah, and it
And that it was actually Eggman.
Yeah.
That too.
it was novel at the time. I mean, granted, yes, going super does add a sort of climax element to it, but this game is trying to feel like a classic Sonic game in many ways, so I think
Yeah.
it works for...
Although the DS game plays it straight, because the final boss of that version was the Mother Wisp, and it was a supersonic encounter.
Yeah.
Also, the Reach for the Stars version of this is super good in this boss fight. Too bad you ended before you get to hear
Dude,
it.
both phases have phenomenal music, and it's attached to such a piss easy fight.
Yeah,
Like I think that's the most disappointing thing about it. Like I love this music that's playing now, and I love Phase 2 specifically as well.
this track never did anything for me. It felt very generic. Ha ha, evil orchestra. Ba, ba, ba.
It's no Bowser's theme from Galaxy, sure, but I love the percussion. Like I love the drums in the back, how they emphasize everything else. But again, you barely hear the son of a bitch because we're almost in the second phase.
Yeah, the orchestral Reach from the Stars really does like sell it, but again, it's like less than a minute long, and you barely get to the chorus by the time you beat the phase. You don't even really get to appreciate it. It was the same thing with Lost Worlds too. Like that also had a really good phase 2 part of its theme, if I remember correctly, and you didn't hear it because that part was also really short and easy. I'm not just misremembering that, right?
I don't.
No, you're right, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember, but I do like this final boss in concept. How Eggman has constructed this giant Nego Wisp robot that uses all of the Wisp powers.
Yeah, no, the
But he doesn't
concept's
even
good.
use all the Wisp powers, though. That's the thing. I mean,
This needed
arguably,
this needed another phase of the boss fight.
yeah, it just needed more power integration. Because like it's sort of weird because like the first thing you hear when the battle begins is frenzy, which I guess is just describing the boss's natural state.
Yeah, because it looks
But you
like
don't really,
the Frenzy
you don't,
Wisp.
yeah, but you don't really see that because everything else it does is like other attack. Like it has laser, it has spike, it has
Cube,
cube,
and that's kind of it.
and like I guess because it's constantly in the air, that's hover. Sure,
They should have
I would
tried to
just-
come up with a set piece for each
Yeah.
one, I think.
There's also no rocket.
Huh. Wait, he didn't shoot rockets at you?
Nope.
No.
How
Yeah,
odd.
see, like it's
Also, that's
over
it.
and you don't even get to hear
The
half
chorus.
of the song. It's like,
Yeah.
why?
Again, like some of the best music in the game, and it's attached to such a pissy fight.
Oh, is there technically a time limit for this section?
No,
No.
Well, no,
You have
because
a limited time for
the bottom left, the color meter was going down. So I think you technically have to do it in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, I don't
maybe.
know.
I've never tried.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Why would I do that?
Yeah, that's the final boss.
Now, I'm gonna say,
And that's it.
for such a lighthearted game, it is a little bit weird for it to end with an explosion of like a space-time black hole thing.
Yeah, it's a death egg exploding. It's the same thing.
It's just a cool guys don't look at explosions
Yeah.
kind of escape
But like,
scene.
it sucks Eggman in and
Yeah.
traps him in a void, and it's like, wow, really? We like that was the ending of Crash Bandicoot 3, but that made sense because he spent the entire game fucking about with a time machine. That going
It's
wrong
not
at the
that
end was
much different
predictable.
than Mario Galaxy 1's ending, where Bowser falls into a lava pool.
Bowser was trying to build a new galaxy, and it became a black
Eggman's
hole.
trying to build a new amusement
It
park.
became a black hole. Yeah, amusement park to black hole. That's a jump. Okay?
Well, no, they showed that he was using all the alien energy for nefarious means.
yeah,
so-
for mind control. Mind
mean-
control.
Yeah,
Where
but
did the
hypergone
where-
energy has a lot.
Where
of
did the-
uses.
You're
where-
right.
You can
this
be a
game isn't
laser.
very realistic.
Where did the space?
What?
Hedgehogs are not
You
blue.
fucking.
Where?
You take that
Where's
back.
the connection between trying to mind control the planet and accidentally creating a hole in the space-time continuum?
Didn't you see at the very beginning of the game, one of the
This is-
robot parts landed in the thing and caused it to leak?
Listen,
Purple
this
juice?
is this. Like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm wasting my breath on this, but this is the same energy that can make Sonic like zoom like a laser, blast off like a rocket, cling on the walls like a turd, and like make cubes. I think it's safe to say if you combine all this shit, it causes a black hole and collapses the time space continuum. So shut up.
Well, this is literally the same ending cutscene as Super Mario
Yes,
Galaxy.
this is literally Galaxy's
That
ending.
doesn't
Well, at least part of it.
even make sense, though.
It doesn't. Well, you know what? Neither does the super fast blue hedgehog.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a weird note to end this particular story on. It would have made sense for, hell, it would have even made a little bit more sense for Sonic Unleashed than it does here. My point is, you know, we've been on, like, super low stakes chill mode for the entire game, and suddenly you broke the universe. Good job. What? Where did that come from?
I like the idea that Sonic spent this entire game saving this alien race who have been enslaved by Dr. Eggman, and then when he saves the day, he doesn't quite escape, and it looks like he's doomed, and they save him. It's karma, you know?
It's
yeah, but
nice,
he also
yeah.
blew up the space station that was attached to their planet. So Planet Wisp is dead now.
It's just the exact nature of the big catastrophe at the end makes me think that they already had Sonic Generations planned and kind of crowbarred in a continuity hook for
Yeah.
it, and that's
No, I would say it's almost definitely the case because Colors was made by the Storybook team, and Sonic team was already working on Generations at this point.
right.
Yep.
So it just feels a bit odd. Is all.
Also, I remembered that in binary, in computer code says if you can read this, you're a nerd.
Thanks for buying our game, nerd.
Again, it's those little things that make me like Sonic Colors at the end of the day. Is it the most perfect Sonic game ever? No. But it's got a lot of heart. The soundtrack's incredible. The dialogue is really fun. I still had a fun time with this, and compared to all the 2000 era Sonic games like Secret Rings and Shadow and 06 and all these bad Sonic games, this was a breath of fresh air at the time, you know?
Yeah.
It was absolutely the game that needed to come out at that point. Like, imagine if there was another game on the quality level, not even just of, like, Sonic 06 or Shadow, which is where people want to go, but imagine if we had instead gotten something of the quality levels of, like, Sonic Heroes at that point. Like, I think people would have just been so tired and given up. Like,
and
but the fact that this ended up being flawed but genuinely good, I think, was really important for the franchise at that time. Also, I love this credits theme; it's one of my favorites. In
Yeah.
the,
Also,
in
we
the
will only be
series.
listening to Speak with
Your
Your
Heart.
Heart and not the other
Yeah.
two songs that it plays.
yeah, this credit sequence goes on way too long, but like.
It's like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Because it plays 3 different songs.
Okay, I know I've been a real negative Norbert for this entire goddamn playthrough, but I will
Oh, his name
give
was Lewis.
Sonic Colors this much, and that is, it is consistently decent all the way through, which I think is a large part of why people liked it so much in comparison to other Sonic games that were out at the time. That consistency was not something we were all that used to at the time. Like, for better or worse, pretty much every Sonic game after this was also pretty consistent in its quality level. Whether that meant being consistently good, like Sonic Generations, consistently awesome, like Sonic Mania, or consistently mediocre, like Sonic Forces. We didn't have that quality roller coaster going on anymore, and it's nice to know that the amount of fun that you're having in any one level is roughly approximate to the amount of fun that you're going to have for the rest of the game now. And Sonic Colors is pretty fun. So
I mean, I think I agree that age has not been super kind, and I think hindsight also is the big problem, because I feel like you can somewhat trace some of the things people don't like about later Sonic games to Colors, and so in your brain space that can be like, that means Sonic Colors also bad, but that's not really. You can look at these things separately. Like, I have a similar thing with Pokemon, actually. A lot of the stuff I don't like about Gen 6 and 8 kind of technically started with Gen 5, which is one of my favorite Pokemon games, but you can acknowledge that and still like it for its own merits.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's not Color's fault they keep bringing back the Wisps.
I mean, it's all,
Yeah.
I mean, another example you could use that for is Fire Emblem, where Awakening did a ton of great things, and you can argue that later games do the same stuff, but it's about context. They do the things a lot harder because, if this worked, then we can just do more of that and they'll do well. It's like, no, people liked what was in that first game because it was in the right amount of moderation for it.
Yeah, like, people liked the somewhat, like, semi-romance angle in Awakening because it was somewhat novel at the time. People didn't like it being more pushed in your face and also done badly in Fates. But that doesn't mean that it was suddenly also bad in Awakening. It just means that Fates did the concept worse.
you are right,
You
though.
know.
Around the time Fates came out and people were ragging on that for its issues, people did also turn around and say Awakening was bad, too.
Oh, now you love Wind Waker. You hate Twilight Princess.
I guarantee 10 years from now, the Sonic community is going to be like, Forces was underrated.
No.
It's already
They're
happening.
already doing it.
No.
It's already happening.
No.
Watch. You watch. It's
you
going to
just-
happen.
Dude, you don't even need a fucking year anymore for that shit to happen. No, never mind.
Forces is...
They had a real
listen,
orchestra? I always
Colors-
thought that this was a fake orchestra. Wow.
No,
okay,
it's real
never
orchestra.
mind.
This
It's
is,
only
this
a real-
is more for certain tracks, not all.
Yeah, like the main. Oh my god, the main theme of Sonic Colors is one of my favorite tracks in the
Yes.
game. I absolutely love
I'm gonna
it.
say
No,
this
but the one I can't. There are aspects of this game that I feel have aged, particularly with level design and control. But I can't knock Colors too much because, like, again, in 2010, this was the shot in the ass the franchises needed. Like, again, the ideas were planted in Unleashed, but that still had the problem with inconsistency, and that's what Colors did right, and it still does. It was the first Sonic game in a very long time, if ever you want to argue, since the classic games, that was consistent from beginning
It was
to
a
end.
consistently good game. It may not be super
Yes.
amazing, but the overall quality from start to finish is good.
Good. Yes.
There's nothing wrong going into this game about what it's trying to do.
Yes.
Like, when we did
And
the Lost World playthrough, you were constantly talking about, like, this level, I don't like what happens in this level, I don't like what happens in this level, and this level. We didn't have a lot
Yeah.
to say about any bad level design in Sonic Colors, so...
No.
It may
There's
be
some,
it may be
small,
uninspired,
annoying
but
parts, but
Right.
yeah.
But it is, for the most part, a similar experience throughout, which I understand. Like, to some of the more dedicated part of the base, that is a detriment because it's nothing special. It was like, but it doesn't need to be.
not coming off of Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06.
I would say that nowadays, if we were to get a game like Sonic Colors, which was kind of overall, well, I'm discrediting Colors by saying that it's It is a good, fun game. But if we were to get something like Colors, which didn't do anything special or remarkable, I think that it would generally come across a lot worse. You
Yeah.
know, like
To me, in my eyes, it needs to be at least as good as Generations.
yeah, and I
Because to me, because nowadays, I'll just tell you to play Generations and to ignore colors completely. Because I think Generations is just the better colors.
well, I mean, I guess I would generally say that. I mean, this is maybe coming from my point of view, where I guess I care a little bit more about aesthetic. I guess Sonic Generations still bothers me in the sense that it's remember how good Sonic was, and that's just been. I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the playthrough, but there's been so much of Sonic being like, remember how good Sonic was, and it's kind of like, no, not really, because all I've been seeing about Sonic for the past 10 years is you telling me that Sonic used to be good, and I'm not sure how much I believe you anymore if you keep on trying to tell me that.
I won't argue against that.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
certainly in terms of level design,
I'm
the
talking,
level design
I'm
is
talking
stronger,
strictly mechanically speaking. Generations surpasses colors and just about every sense, except ironically the colors part, because Planet West is my least favorite stage in the game. But yeah, I mean, I will always appreciate colors, but I don't feel the need to play colors nowadays. Mm-hmm. That way.
At the same time, I do kind of get where Ted is coming from, because from a conceptual standpoint, the story setup and the level settings, colors does stand more strongly on its own than Generations did. In fact, thinking about it, it was probably the most like it and Unleashed are the most recent games that really do.
and they're not recent anymore. This game's 10 years old.
Yeah. After that,
Hey.
like we've got. After that,
This game was on the Wii.
The Wii's a retro console now, I'll say.
After that, we had what Generations, Mania, and Forces, all of
And Lost
which,
Poor Lost World.
and
just got
Lost
Sonic
World.
4 Episode 2
And-
came out after Colors.
and Sonic 4, Sonic 4 and Sonic Lost World. And Sonic Lost World's level themes were kind of genericness wrapped up in a Super Mario Galaxy aesthetic, so that really didn't have an identity of its own. And the other three main console games we've gotten since were leaning into reimagining or retreading older level themes from previous games. So, yeah, Colors and Unleashed were the most recent ones to have their own identity to stand on. That's a little depressing, actually.
I don't know what they're going to do with Sonic next. I think that's probably could be a 30-minute discussion in and of itself.
We'll get that reaction discussion whenever they decide to show it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're hoping something comes out soon because we're running out of revisits, and we refuse to do Sonic 06 again because that's just too long and it's been run to the ground.
Well, I mean, we could do Generations 10th anniversary next year.
No,
You know it's not going to happen when
A
John's the one
revisit of
saying it.
a revisit
of a game
is
that
like,
revisits other revisits. Yes,
That's like the clip show
Fourth
of
Mania
a clip
playthrough.
show.
Fourth Mania playthrough.
I will kick your teeth through the internet. I swear to Christ.
How
You have
about
so
if-
many handheld games you never touched.
Oh,
that's true. We
do
never
you
did the
want-
advance.
okay,
That's true.
Clement,
We have never done the advanced stuff.
Do you want to sit through a 20-minute part that's just Maureen the raccoon jabbering on over and over and over
Yeah.
again?
Because Lewis will do it unironically.
Absolutely.
yeah, I probably would.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming and joining us, Clement. We will see you all next year if we have a 30th anniversary game, which I imagine we will. But until then, later.